But tell me, how did you think about this? In fact, it's an animation movie, and what brought you to this theme, and why did you want to do this movie?
Well, it has a very interesting backstory. I was invited to a film festival in San Francisco, Sonoma County, and they actually paid for me to go over, which was very nice. And so while I was there, I met some other filmmakers, and there was a young guy there called Miles Levin. And over lunch one day, he told me about this live action film that he wanted to make. And it was about a woman who ends up being tied up next to a bomb, and the bomb's going to explode and somebody comes and saves her. And as he was telling me the story, I was thinking to myself, I really wish I thought of this, because it would make a really good comedy animation rather than a live action. So I encouraged Miles to make his live action version, which he did, but I just couldn't get this idea out of my head that it would be so good for animation. And so I contacted him after his film had sort of got very close to finishing its festival's run, and said to him, do you mind if I have a pass at your idea? And he very graciously said, yes, you can do it. And so really what happened was I took his basic idea and then changed it quite a bit. So they're two quite different films, but they have the same kernel of an idea. So I didn't remake his film or anything like that. This is absolutely a different film altogether.
Yeah.
But just the idea of someone being stuck trying to get through on the phone when something is desperately important struck me as being very funny. And so I just took it to much more bizarre and strange lengths than he did. And of course, it's easier to do that in animation. We can play around with the way things look a lot more easily than you can if you've got live actors doing it. So that's sort of how the film came into being. I sent Miles a copy of it. Unfortunately, he likes it, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is very interesting. Yeah, the ambiance is also very interesting. Putting this lady who seems from another time. She doesn't seem from the 2020 type. She's more maybe of 50s or something like that. Maybe I don't know what you had in mind, but we're in almost the cartoon world, that we used to have at that time, and then we don't know what happened, why she's there, but yet we get into the story there very fast, just because we have elements that triggers in our heads all the red flashes, especially when she pushes that button, and then we see the arsenal, we see all these bombs. It's funny that you even labeled them, some of them coming from Russia or
yes. It actually, the film just recently played in Russia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then it won a film festival there, so they obviously like the idea.
Watch out, they might tell you that it's American imperialism, because you're portraying them as...
Exactly. But it's interesting to say, because I deliberately made her look as if she was from the 1940s and 1950s. And I actually, when I was describing the film to my producer, saying, this is the film I want to make next, and he's also my business partner, I said to him, it's a nostalgic look at a modern problem. So I think that sort of sums it up, that, that the idea is that she looks like she's from another time, but she does have a mobile phone.
Exactly, mobile phone, and then she gets hooked to these now answering systems, and it's true that there is such a frustration with those systems all over the world. You know, they put you online, and you're in a hurry. You want to pass on information or you want to receive information, and they're like taking their time to tell you, well, you should push this and then push that, and then it's you know, wherever you have these systems, people are frustrated. We expect as human beings to have, especially if we're in a hurry, if we're in urgency, to have immediate response. We don't expect this type of. So it was very well played, where she, we can feel, because she moved from one system then to the other guy, who's supposed to help her.
Yes.
And that was also very funny, the way.
Yes. I mean, I think the thing that works for the film is that kind of frustration when you get caught on the phone, having to press buttons to tell people what's going on, is worldwide. Everybody experiences it. Doesn't matter what country you're from, everybody suffers from that. And so I think that's why it's been so popular around the world. We can all identify with that. It's universal.
Yeah, but you're saying it's your film. You're happy with the outcome and how the public has received it in different places?
Oh, very much, very much. Very, very happy with it. I mean, to get into the Rabat-Comedy International Film Festival is just amazing. I mean, thank you.
Yeah, well, the film deserves it 100%. Because we are trying in Rabat-Comedy to show different facets of comedy. We were very happy to have an animation that is a comedy and so well done, because it really enriches the selection, the official selection. There is so much variety now and diversity in it, so we're happy to have that variety and diversity.
Well, that's what we're all hoping for, isn't it? That you end up with a really, really good, varied, interesting festival program, and I'm very, very proud to be part of that. So thanks again. It's great.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure to send you a link so that you can watch the other films, because it's always interesting to see what we are, competing against. Although it's it's a gentleman's competition. It's all movies are really have their own worth and own value, and competition in art is not really it's not really the best way to see art, but festivals are like that. At the end, somebody needs to get the award. Let me ask you. Yeah,
I was going to say, I've always said that about short film festivals. The best thing about them is if you see something and you don't like it, you don't have to wait very long before something else completely different turns up. So it's not like, if you start watching a feature film and 10 minutes in, you're thinking, well, I'm not sure about this, I don't really like it. You're stuck there for another hour and a half. With a short film, it might only be another few minutes, and then something else will come up that could be completely different that you absolutely love. So
exactly.
I love festivals from that point of view.
Yeah, but I meant to ask you, how did you produce this film? How are you basically an animation filmmaker, or is this a genre that you've chosen just for this movie? And how is your craft in terms of animation? Are you the one who draws, or you just give as the director directions to a team that I suppose yes.
That was all completely made by myself.
Wow. And you draw by hand, or because now they have all these softwares to draw all kind of
no, these are puppets.
These are
a little.
puppets.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay. So
I move one frame at a time.
Okay, so you're doing this. You're taking puppets, and then
Yep.
you filming the puppet, or you taking pictures of them one at a time. And
Yep.
so what is that technique called?
Stop motion.
Okay, so it's stop motion, exactly. Stop motion technique that allows for you to, and then the backgrounds and the decor. That
It's all built. It's all a set.
Okay. So you
Took me about 3 months to make the set.
Okay.
And then it was probably 6 to 7 months to actually shoot it.
Wow.
Because of course, with a puppet, you move it and you take a frame, and you move it a bit more and you take a frame, and you move it a bit more and you take a frame.
Yeah, so you have to know how much you need to move it so that it looks natural. It looks it's something you. Oh, okay. So it's really handcrafted meticulously and taking all your time to do it. That's
I have to move the puppet 24 times for you to look at 1 second of film.
1 second, yeah, exactly. Just like drawing, but now you're
but it's the model. Yeah.
It's the model. So yeah, it's
no computers. No computers.
Okay. And what camera do you use to do this kind of work? So you're supposed to do.
It's a DSLR still camera.
Okay, and you take actually pictures of it. So every time it's picture, and you probably light the set, because I saw so very nice lighting and
yes. So tiny little lights that we have that are set up. And I should to go back to your previous question. I do some live action, but most of it is stop motion animation. And I've been doing it now for pretty close to 45 years.
Wow.
So most of the things that I do, all of my short films are stop motion animation. Okay. That's all I work in.
Yeah.
And so we're set up to do stop motion films. So we have the lights, we have the right sort of camera, and basically we will build the set, we make the puppets, we put them on the set, we light it just like a live action film, and then a frame at a time, we have to craft that performance.
Okay, so if you do 5 seconds a day, you're very happy. If you do 5 seconds.
Oh yeah. 5 seconds is pretty good.
Well, that's
but having your lead character tied to a chair makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't have to move that much. Yeah,
that's right. She was running around. Big problem.
Yeah, but the rats were running in the back backstage. Yeah, we saw them running. But you do this in the process, and then once you finish this, you add on the sound. Yeah.
So the very first thing we do is record the voices, so that we know that the mouth shapes that we need to animate to. Now, with the woman in the chair, even though she had a cloth over her mouth, you noticed that she was still talking behind the cloth.
Yeah.
And that's because I wanted her to still be alive, and I wanted people to appreciate the fact that she was trying to talk.
Exactly.
So if it didn't move, it wouldn't look.
Yeah, it wouldn't look as good, because at one point we're in the story and we need to see the character strive, talk, and because we accept that it's a character that it's not a puppet anymore. It's it's a character.
That's one of the best critiques I've ever received, which was from one of my previous films, and one of the judges said, after a minute, I'd forgotten that they were puppets. And that is absolute. That's wonderful. If you can get that, you've done it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's very nice result you have, but then it's such a big process when you do it alone. I suppose that other I'm thinking about Shaun the Ship, very popular show. I don't know if you very popular show in Morocco at one point, and those guys had a series, so I suppose they were a big team to do all these
but this is a one-off. If it was a series, we'd get more people to do it.
Okay.
I don't think we can make a series out of this.
So
I was just going to say, it's funny because with the animation, I don't do the cinematography. That's done by my business partner, who is also the producer of the film. So he's the one who actually does the cinematography. So as I wrote it, I directed it, I designed it, and I'm also the voice of the rat.
Ah, you're the rat.
I'm the rat. I didn't give myself the credit, but I'm the rat. But then the sound effects are done by somebody else, a collaborator of mine. He's done all the sound on all of my films. And the music was done by a musician who is also someone that I collaborate with a lot. And my editor is someone that we use all the time. So we're like a little team, but these guys come in right at the end when it's all shot, and then they do it to the pictures. So, for example, with this one, you record the voice first, so you can match the mouth shapes. And as I say, even though the lead character had a gag over her mouth, I still wanted to get the recording of her so that I could make the cloth move. And she did that over 2 days. And after the first day, it became quite apparent that I had just thought if she makes noises, that will work. But as it turned out, it was much, much better if she actually tried to say something. And so I went home that night and I wrote a complete script for her of things that she was going to say. And when she came in the next day, she got the script. And that was, okay, at this point, this is what you're trying to say. And it was much, much better than just having noises.
Yeah.
Then right at the end of the shooting period, because as I'm animating, sometimes an idea will come to me and I don't have a sound effect for it or a voice vocalization for it, but I'll just move the mouth anyway. And then they come in at the end and do what's called a polish. So they'll put everything in that I've animated, but there wasn't actually a noise for. And then that goes in right at the end as well. So she did 2 days of recording right at the start, and then 1 day of recording right at the end, just to finish it all up. So that was about 8 months apart.
Wow. Wow, that's 8 months of hard work and also a lot of knowledge you put in it, because if you were to move the mouth, for example, to say a word, you probably now have the knowledge on how many movements you should take, pictures you should take to get that movement of the lips, lip movement that will allow us to believe that it's coming from her mouth. The word is coming from her mouth. Yeah.
And it's really obvious at the end with the superhero, because of course you can see him talk. And so what happens there is that we have a series of mouths with the phonetic shapes already in them, and I can just replace the mouth.
Okay.
And because he's a superhero, he had that cowl on that just revealed this bit of his mouth. I could just keep taking that bit out and plugging it in. And then I would have one mouth, which we call a neutral mouth, which doesn't really have anything. It's just a line. And if there was some sort of mouth shape that I didn't have a replacement mouth for, I could actually sculpt that on the set because it's made of modeling clay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was able to just sculpt that on the day and make it work. It's a lot of work. When
a lot of work.
I think about what I do, I'm always amazed myself that I do it.
Yeah, well, a lot of work and a lot of precision and a lot of patience, and also a lot of anticipation on what we will end up seeing, and all this is really a make of you and people who do this kind of animation a breed apart, you know, a breed of filmmakers totally apart.
Yes, it's a strange discipline. It really is. Yeah, great fun though. As I say, I've been doing it for over 45 years, and I have never ever not enjoyed a day on set. You know, it's just when you're on set and it's you and the puppet and you're moving it around and you're concentrating and you take the frame, and then we have a computer at the side of us that records each picture as we take it, and you can play that back and see how the animation's working. And it's such a great feeling when it's working. A lot of animators, if there's an action that they're not sure about, they might shoot it on video themselves, and then they can put that in the top corner of the picture and animate the character to match the action that they have done. But I never do that. I just animate from here. So that, and the reason for that is that I think if you start following something that a real person has done, you might actually then have the opportunity of doing something that only the stop motion model could do.
Yeah, yeah.
So
exactly.
I would much rather just go with what the stop motion model can do, rather than film it and copy it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you want to keep the art pure and you know, not introduce all this.
Yeah, and then it becomes my performance, not somebody else's.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's great having you and listening to all these wonderful things you tell us about this stop motion technique, and we're very glad that your film is with us. We hope you the best luck. I didn't ask what are your plans coming, any future plans, any new movie, any.
Yeah, I've actually got a new movie which I have just finished and started to put into film festivals a couple of weeks ago, but it's a drama.
Ah, okay. How many minutes? How many minutes of it?
It's 12 minutes and 55 seconds.
Wow.
So 13 minutes, yeah.
That's a lot of. Well, the best luck, and we hope you'll join us for the closing ceremony where we'll be announcing the awards. We'll send you a link for that also. And
please do.
And thank you so much for participating, and the best luck to you down under.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for your support, because seriously, if it weren't for film festivals like yours, where would our work get seen?
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, and take care of yourself.